Hi, I'm Ben, and this is the house I built out of shipping containers. Now, I've been interested in shipping container architecture for quite some time, but I had a really hard time finding good information about how to get building permits or how much would it cost. Well, we did the research, we documented everything that we did, and now we're so excited to share with you what we learned. So check it out. The house is all done, so we're going to take a tour and I'm going to show you a 24-hour period, which sort of represents a typical day in my life. Now, you first see the container house as you approach on the dirt road that leads up to it. Now, obviously, it would be nice to have it more secluded from the roads, but the farther you go away from the roads, the farther you go away from power and water, which ups your utility costs. This one house is actually comprised of 3 separate cabins all built inside containers. I went over the reasons for this in the early episodes of the Modern Home Project. We kept the design pretty minimal and industrial, so they definitely still look like containers. And if I was to do it again, I think I might spend a little more time trying to figure out ways to better integrate utility things like the air conditioner condensers. Windows and doors are one of the most expensive components of any home, so I really wanted to get the most bang for my buck whenever I spent money on glass. So that's why these big accordion doors are also serving as the main front entrance door. Once you enter into the main cabin, you're immediately in the middle of the kitchen, dining, and living room space. A walk-through bathroom with a pocket door separates the kitchen from the bedroom. Now, this whole main cabin is under 320 square feet, so I really want to think about ways of showing differences between the spaces, and transitions like this tile inlaid into the flooring were a great example of that. I had been renting out this cabin on Airbnb, and I wanted to create space for people to put their luggage right when they check in. So that's why I raised the bed up on a platform so that you could throw your luggage right underneath. The bedroom is quite small, but it has plenty of light coming from one window and a glass swing door. In order to keep tiny homes like this from feeling claustrophobic, I like to create multiple entrances to the exterior. With tiny houses, you have to make unconventional floor plan decisions like using a bathroom to separate the bedroom and living space. So while walking through the bathroom is not ideal, at least it keeps the plumbing all consolidated next to the kitchen. So now that you've seen the main living space, let's look at the floor plans and go over the rest of the design. Originally, I just wanted this to be a very small 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, but due to square footage requirements from the county, we had to build this third unit, which we use for storage. The layout was designed to eliminate the need for hallways, which normally result as wasted space in a typical house. I used concrete pavers and cedar decking to create an outdoor living space that loosely connects all 3 containers. Now, on this particular day, I was shooting a commercial for outdoor brand Jack Wolfskin, so I stowed my gear and headed outside to climb up my mountain and work on a fire pit project. The house is on a 10-acre parcel that's an approximate square about 650 by 650 feet. There's sort of this mountain in the middle of it, and originally I thought it'd be really cool to put the house up on the mountain, but it gets really windy up there, and it would have been really difficult to bring the utilities, particularly the water, up that high. So since I can't have the house exactly where I wanted it to be, I thought at least having a fire pit and a nice place to hang out would be the second best option. So we dug into the side of the mountain to create a little bit of a windbreak, which is no easy feat when the ground is mostly made up out of rock. After quite a bit of digging though, we scraped out a nice sort of half-sunken igloo and started to collect local rocks to make the fire pit itself. Now, I was never much of a Boy Scout, so my fire building skills aren't that great, but as a maker, I have access to all kinds of awesome tools, so I just whipped out my benzomatic torch and just lit this sucker up. Now, this was just my 3rd time staying at the container house. I don't really get that into the things that I build. I love building them, I love designing them, but when they're done, I'm normally moving on to the next project. So it was nice for this one time just to sit back, enjoy the fire and the views, and start planning those next house projects. Because the truth is, I just sold this house, and I'm using that money to work on another container house project, as well as a conventionally built house, which I'll unveil later in this video. I'm a morning person anyways, but just having linen curtains on east-facing windows sure reinforces that. I really like how light and airy the bedroom feels, even though it's only about 7 feet wide and 9.5 feet long. Now, I wish I had a more aspirational lifestyle where I didn't immediately check my phone as soon as I wake up, but That's how I live. So at least I can do it in style. And so that's why I added these really cool retro styled Conway electric plugs next to all the beds and sofas in the container property. My mornings always start with massive amounts of caffeine, and I really like this compact espresso maker. It's super easy to use, it's easy to rinse out and clean, and the espresso is fantastic. I've never really liked the way plastic coffee makers look on countertops, and Nespresso and Keurig machines, they're really convenient, but it's not really great how they produce so many disposable cartridges. So for the Airbnb guest, I left this espresso maker and a Chemex for pour over coffee. And I think this is a really good combination that still keeps things a little analog, but still provides clean, crisp design that looks nice on the open shelving. Check out that asymmetrical backsplash. I really like how you pick up reflections of it, almost like a mountain range, in the surface of the cooktop. And like everything else in this house, there's a DIY video for that particular project. The links, of course, are in the description. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a little espresso into bed, although certainly don't want to spill it on all this white bedding. I also like that this ledge could serve as a bookshelf if you're feeling a little bit more aspirational and want to read something other than your phone. Now the entire house is completely heated and cooled by Mitsubishi mini split heat pumps. But today the weather is really nice in Joshua Tree, so I opened up these big gel-twin accordion doors and decided to check my morning emails halfway between inside and out. This is the main design feature of the house. I really like using doors parallel to each other and creating a see-through moment in an otherwise quite small home. Now, accordion doors look great, but they're a little bit more temperamental and not quite as rugged and durable at the same price point as sliding glass doors, so it's a real trade-off between aesthetics and day-to-day practicality. But since this is a vacation home, well, you can see which way I leaned. Now, there isn't room for that much furniture inside a container house because it's so narrow, but I did make all the pieces that you see here. I made the sofa, video link in the description below, and in order to save space and also provide plants, because who doesn't like plants in their home, I made this combination side table and planter for a big fiddly fig. I also wanted accessories that do more than one thing, so that's why I used these Conway electric desk lamps, which have both USB and conventional plugs for charging all your devices while you're sitting on the sofa. I like smart technology, but I don't like smart technology built into houses. That's because the technological components become obsolete much faster than the house will. So whenever possible, I use plug and play components like the Conway electric lamp and like this Bluetooth speaker from Audio Engine. After taking care of the digital and office work, I headed outside to get ready for our next construction project. Now, one of the first things we did on this property was install a 20-foot side opening container that we used to secure materials and the tools that we use to build the house. Now the house is done, we don't need the storage here, but my sister Jessie could sure use it at the house she's renovating, also in Joshua Tree. She bought a house from a hoarder and has been really doing a lot of work to strip it down to the studs and is about ready to start renovating it. So be sure to check out her channel. Containers like this only cost about $5,000 and they're nice secure ways to provide storage on a job site. And it only cost me $300 to move it. We just slid it right off the trailer and into the front yard of the poop house. If you watch our videos, you'll know why we call it the poop house. And then headed back to the container house to check in on the bus renovation that my friend Mike from Modern Builds is working on. So we originally came out to Joshua Tree to work on the container house, but have really fallen in love with the place and are deciding to stay here for quite a while. Mike brought this giant bus out here and has been converting it into a really awesome, super colorful, tiny home.
Oh, welcome to the Modern Builds School Bus Tiny House.
Be sure to check out the Modern Builds YouTube channel for a full list of build videos all about this awesome project. One of my favorite design techniques is to blend the inside with the outside. And I love how as you walk up to this house when both of the doors are open, the landscape just seems to be flowing right through it. And that doesn't just happen in this main container, that also happens in the little 20-foot guest unit as well. Now these doors aren't as big, but we still use parallel glass doors to create a similar effect. This bedroom, like the other one, is situated right up against a nice picture window, but for this one I added curtains on the other side of the bed as well to create this cozy canopy feel. I was trying to balance creating a cozy feel while still providing plenty of light and air. The back door exits out to a private deck. I made a video of this deck as well, and it's got some really cool built-in lights. This house also features a custom skull-shaped pizza oven by my friend Brett from Skull and Spades. Be sure to check out that video. It's weird and wonderful. Now, a lot of people ask me why I didn't create any sort of covered awnings to create shade. And that isn't a bad idea, but most of the time when we hang outside in Joshua Tree, it's in the afternoons or mornings. So that's when the sun angles are lower, and the way I situated the containers creates shade in between them in this sort of like outdoor patio courtyard type thing. So even though this entire building is less than 720 square feet, there's a ton of surface area and it's really spread all out, and there's all these little spaces in between the boxes. Now, let's not forget the front yard, because one of my favorite things out there is the concrete ping pong table that my boy Mike Clifford made when he was out here for Makesgiving. Be sure to check out Expresso Maker. It's an awesome YouTube channel if you love really cool concrete and epoxy projects. It was starting to cool off, so I spent a little time on the DIY lounge chair that I made, sketching out some new furniture builds. The lounge chair is great, but my favorite place to hang out is actually on the roof. I don't know why. Jessie and I, we always just climb up onto the roof of things. It's like our favorite place to perch and just chill. And when you're out here in the desert and the doors are totally open, it just feels like you're sitting on a bridge to nowhere, which is a metaphor for my life. We decided to have a little bit of a send-off dinner since this was going to be one of our last nights here. So we fired up the grill, made some food, and waited for Mike from Modern Builds to show up, but he was, as usual, very late. I built this grill station with concrete countertops around a stainless steel grill that I got from Home Depot. And even though there's a full kitchen inside, we ended up doing most of the cooking out here. The exterior could probably use some additional outdoor furniture pieces, but it does get so windy here and the sun's so harsh that I don't like putting too much stuff out there because it tends to look pretty beat up after a while. And we always just end up sitting on the edge of the deck anyways. And it's not just any deck. This deck out the front and back of the main unit is made out of solid 6x6 cedar beams. Mike from Modern Builds finally showed up, but to be fair, he had a long day moving the bus. So we cracked some beers and told all the funny stories that we endured along the way of building this thing. But now let's head back to the studio so I can tell you about the new house I'm going to build. Alright, so the container house is done and has been sold. And if you want to see the construction process, be sure to check out our other YouTube channel, The Modern Home Project. We have 9 episodes that take you step by step all the way through, from permits to grading the land, all the way up to even building some of the furniture projects and the landscaping projects as well. So I'm about to begin my next big construction project, which will be another house, this time my main residence. And I will unveil that design right after a message from the sponsor for this video, Fiverr. Fiverr's mission is to change how the world works together. Fiverr connects businesses with freelancers offering digital services in over 300 different categories. Whatever the need is, they've got the solution. Find any service in under 5 minutes. Fiverr offers 24-hour delivery, unbeatable value, millions of gigs. With over 100,000 professional sellers and service providers, you can be sure of finding the right fit. Now, I use Fiverr for a variety of different tasks. I like to keep my team really small, so Fiverr lets me get a lot of capabilities without hiring full-time employees. Recently, I used Fiverr to update the website for the container house, themodernhomeproject.com. I hired a Squarespace designer on Fiverr and used him to add the new episodes of the video series to the website. Now, these videos are quite long, and I want to make sure that people that are searching for container houses would find the videos. So I hired a transcriber, also from Fiverr, to write out everything that was said in the video. This way I have clean, grammatically correct posts that will help search engines find my content. What I like about Fiverr is that it's sort of a one-stop shop for small businesses like me. I can have graphics done, new logos designed, transcribing of videos, and then taking all that content and updating my website with it. I also use Fiverr to hire architectural designers to create 3D visualizations of my new home. I just uploaded the floor plans and Revit models and gave a brief description of what I wanted. The designer immediately confirmed receipt of the content and sent me back renderings within 48 hours. I then reviewed the design, listed some minor changes, and he updated everything and sent me new renderings later that next day. I designed the floor plans myself, but Fiverr has designers that can draw out plans and produce color 3D renderings of your next home renovation project. I have been using Fiverr for years and I highly recommend it. So head to fiverr.co/homemade-modern to learn more. That's FVRR.co/homemade-modern. Check out their website development options as well as a ton of other incredible business offerings. Or just click on the link in the description below. So the container house came out great, but it's too small for most families. It's perfect for a vacation house, but I don't think it's what everybody's looking for everyday living. So our next construction project will be a much more typically sized house. It's going to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath modern house, but we're really going to focus on the budget. So we're really trying to streamline the design and make things as simple as possible to reduce labor costs, but still provide nice big open spaces with high ceilings so that we can get that really great interior modern design and have an exterior that looks really clean, not like it's too busy, and just looks like it really fits into the landscape with a few clever integrations of plants here and there. Unlike the container house, which was more of a novelty project, the focus on this one will really be on making it affordable. That's a super important passion of mine. I think affordable housing is a really big issue in this country, and I want to show that you can still get something really nice by still being very modest with the budget. So let's see a preview of this new house, which we are calling Maker Ranch 2.0. As I said before, the main goal of this project is affordability, so we keep the design very simple and minimize labor costs. It's just a long, straight bar, 20 feet wide with a single slope roof. Now it's going to have a 3-car garage, which I will use as a workshop, and a covered breezeway in between the house and garage. What I like about this is that when I have people over, we tend to hang out on our covered patio right now. By putting it in between the workshop where we'll be building stuff and the kitchen where we'll be snacking, we create this really great social moment that fits into the flow from work to living. Now, I'll be building out the kitchen myself along with all the furniture, so that means lots of new DIY projects are coming to Homemade Modern. The walls will be framed from 2x6s with a slab-on-grade foundation, which means I finally get the concrete floors I have been wanting. Right now, we're in the process of getting the engineering work done and submitting the design for building permits. Now, I will also do an episode on how to secure a construction loan, which is a totally different process than getting a mortgage for an existing house. Once again, we'll be documenting the entire process in video episodes on the Modern Home Project YouTube channel. It's been a lot of fun getting back into designing and building homes. My background's actually in architecture. I co-founded the firm Zero Energy Design and did a lot of work on custom design sustainable homes. What I'm trying to do now is mix the DIY stuff from Homemade Modern into the home building stuff from the Modern Home Project so that we can kind of show everything from building a dining room table to building the dining room itself. The content itself will sort of go back and forth between kind of novel things that I'm interested in design-wise and really practical, affordable DIY projects that are well suited for a lot of people. Now, I'll still be producing 30 to 40 DIY projects a year right here on the Homemade Modern channel, so don't worry, your DIY fix is still coming. But let me know if these bigger construction projects interest you. Just hit me up in the comment section below and tell me what you want to see. So thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Oh, and here's a preview of an upcoming project, a DIY hot tub that's built in 1 hour.
It works pretty well.